So why psilocybin and why not LSD? And I because I know nothing about this very
Yeah,
much apart from the books that I read. But you've mentioned two, but it's my understanding on
yeah,
your with Confluence, you're focusing on psilocybin. Why is that?
yes. So you can see I'm smiling, just getting ready to talk about LSD. For me personally, like LSD is for me the most profound experiences I've had, and it's a little bit maybe it's conflated because my first dozen or so psychedelic journeys were with LSD before I started experimenting with others. But the real answer to your question is because the research on LSD is way behind the research on psilocybin, which is
Okay.
most likely because there is a sense of safety that psilocybin is a naturally occurring plant, where LSD is made in a laboratory. Physiologically, there's no difference in safety. Like it's actually less physically impactful to have LSD, and there's other things like when you get into like trying to bring forward a therapy or a treatment, like psilocybin lasts for about 6 to 8 hours, where LSD lasts for 10 to 12 hours.
Wow.
So that's like a practical thing. But I'd say like most people would that work in this field would probably agree that psilocybin's having a moment, largely because it was the easiest thing to start to get clinical research approval for, and then once you get a few clinical studies going, it's easier to get a few more. And so um, there's I think it's actually in Michael Pollan's book that a researcher says like the only difference between psilocybin and LSD as far as like efficacy and safety is like the fact that people are afraid of LSD because of all the propaganda and the war on drugs and these things. So it'll come like just in the last 2 months, I believe the FDA here in the United States, the Drug Administration organization of the federal government, gave breakthrough therapy status for an LSD treatment for anxiety, if I remember correctly, where psilocybin's first breakthrough therapy designation was, I believe, back in 2018. And what that means is the government is recognizing that this therapy has so much potential that we're going to fast track it through the approval process medically. And so, yeah, really the difference is like that, like it's people feel safer with a naturally occurring mushroom. On an experiential level, it's probably really hard to try to explain a difference. Like for me, I can just say for me, I tend to feel more mental clarity through LSD, where with mushrooms, it tends to feel a little bit more bumpy and chaotic.
Mm.
But I know a lot of people who do a lot of psychedelics who think LSD is too much for them and they prefer mushrooms. Most people tend to prefer mushrooms, I think. So at some level, it's like a personal choice once you're like into the world of psychedelics. And I'd say like a really healthy belief I have that a lot of people who've been doing this work for a while will have is there's no like one's better than the other. They're all just different experiences that you can have. And in the scope of your explorations, they're just all different parts of your journey. And it's probably impossible at this stage to say like LSD is better for this, where psilocybin's better for that. They all have a pretty similar nature of, providing these powerful insights, increasing your neuroplasticity,